this video, I'm going to run through the basic navigation of the SlockBDA website editor, which is Wix.com. So you're going to log into Wix for the SlockBDA username, and then it will take you to this page. You will click on Site Actions and then Edit Site. And that'll bring you up to use the website editor. Once it loads, you will come up to the home page here, and I will kind of just run through how you navigate through the pages and what tools you need to use in order to edit the website. So basically, the first thing that we want to do is to navigate through all the pages. That's done by going up to the top left corner here, which is pages, and that will allow you to just kind of scroll through or go through the pages that exist on the web page. Now, all these pages that you see here are not necessarily available on the live website. These are all the pages that have been built in the website. In order to find out which sites or which pages are live, you would go to the edit page tool. So, but if you needed to go to a page quickly to kind of edit the content on that particular page, then you would use just the basic page navigation here. So for instance, if you need to go to the junior high audition information, you just click on the page and that would take you to that particular page, as you see here. Now, to simply edit text that already exists on the web page, you would simply just click on the area where you see the text. The blue area is where you where the text exists, and you would just need to either click on edit text up at the top here, or double click in the blue area, and that'll bring you up to being able to edit the site. Now, if you notice here, there are some texts that are kind of overlaid on top of each other. So just be careful that you take note of which text that you are that you want to edit. It allows you to kind of move the text and position it how you like. But just be careful when you're editing that you're in the correct window. Best thing to do is just to double click, and then it does highlight the entire text box. So if you wanted to edit a particular sentence or word, then you need to unhighlight by just clicking and then move the cursor to where you would want to edit. Most of the items that you're going to be editing are dates and times, and possibly schools and things of that nature. A lot of times when you are editing, it will bring up an additional menu. Oftentimes that menu is in your way of needing to kind of look around and edit the text that you need. So it may be important to either move that particular menu out of the way like I'm doing here, or you could just get rid of it entirely as you're trying to kind of edit. Just one of the things that I find a little annoying about the particular website editor. But in any case, it does allow kind of an ease to edit the site, and so I find that the Wix Wix website editor is pretty easy to use. So that's basically how you would move to each site and how you could edit simple text. What you're seeing here is an app that displays PDF files, and I'll get into that when I talk about uploading files and photos and information such as that. In any case, if you wanted to go back and figure out how to highlight particular pages and edit how pages behave, then you would need to go to click on the page tool, which is up at the top, menus and pages. That will allow you to first of all move back and forth between the different pages that we have, but then also be able to show and hide various pages. Now, just so that you understand, in terms of hiding the pages, the symbol to hide the page is this crossed out I, and really you're not necessarily hiding the page still exists. You are preventing it from showing up in the main menu area, which is these buttons up here up at the top. That would allow students or whoever people to click on the particular link and go to that page. Sometimes you want that to show up in the menu. Sometimes you may want to hide the page but create a link to that page so that the only way that the person can reach that page is by going to that particular link. So it kind of depends on what you're doing. In any case, to hide a page, you're just going to click on that particular page, and then you're going to click the menu options, which are the dots that you see here. And that will allow you to either hide the page or to show the page. Right now we are in the audition phase of the on-demand season, so I need that information to show up so that students can access that particular page from the menu and get to it quickly. There are some other menus, pages that have already been built that will be ready to go. And so it just makes it easier so I don't have to rebuild the whole page. It's still there. When it's time to have the students access that page, I'll unhide it from the menu. I may also hide some of the other pages once we're done with the audition process. So generally, when you see in this the site menu, when pages are grayed out a little bit, then that means that the page is hidden, and then when it's bold, that means that it is accessible through the menu. So that's basically how you will navigate through the different pages, show and hide the pages. Now sometimes you may want to duplicate a page, particularly if there's properties or items that you just want to copy, make another page, and just kind of edit into a new page. And so what you would do, so I'm going to do an example here because I need to make some more maps for some of the schools. So we'll take one of these pages, Laguna and Paulding, that's the map for where they need to go. And you're going to click on the menu option as well, and then click on duplicate. And that'll create another copy of that page. Then you will just rename that page to whatever menu that you want. We have an event that will happen at Mission Prep High School this year. So I'm going to rename it to that page. And then I'll be able to go through and edit on that page the what I want it to say. So in this case, I'm going to change it to Mission Prep. And then I'll change the address so that the map shows Mission Preparatory High School.
YouTube.
And then I'm going to change the description. And the nice thing about it, it works through Google, so it was pretty easy just to change, and then it changes all the information there. So I'm going to keep everything the way it is, and then it's a good idea as you make changes to save. There are two things that you can do. You can save the website as you are editing. This will allow you to just make the changes but not make them public or not published. So it depends on what you are doing and how it will show up in the public realm. In this case, it doesn't matter because I don't have a link to this page. I'm going to hide it so that it's not accessible, but I'm going to make it available through a link in the website. I'm just going to go ahead and hit publish right now. And then in the menu option button on the mission prep, I'm just going to make sure it's hidden, and it already is. So that's basically how you duplicate a page and edit it to make a new page. Also from the same menu, if you wanted to start a brand new page, then you would just click on Add Page. Now, an important thing regarding this is that you want to make sure that your highlighted page is selected to where the new page you're going to create is going to be directly under that highlighted area. So if I start a new page here, it's going to create a new page in this sub-menu under Honor Band. So if you wanted the new page to be in a different area, such as like history here, you would want to make sure that you are under the main heading of the history button, history menu item there. Now, you can also easily arrange and organize your pages by just simply dragging and dropping the page to where you want it to go. So right now everything is kind of organized the way I want it, but let's say if I wanted some of these pages to move to a different heading, you would simply just click on it, drag it, and drop it to where you want it to go. You can also create sub-pages underneath the main heading. I'm not going to do it right now for this website, but you would just basically take the whatever page you have, and if it was in line with the same website heading, then to make a subpage, you would just drag it over so that if you see the arrow connecting to where the subheading is, it would create a subheading for the home page. Now we don't want that, so I'm going to go ahead and place it back under the subheading for history. But that's basically how you make those subheadings. What the subheadings do is that it creates, when I hover over a particular menu button here, you would see the subpages. Now, in order to see this in live without actually having to go to the to a live website, you would just click on Preview, and that would allow you to see where you see those subheading pages. Now, remember, all the pages that are hidden are not going to show under these subheadings. So that's basically what the subheading would do. And then to go back to editing the page, then you would just click on the back to the editor. So you want to make sure when you're adding a new page, depending on where you want to add that page, make sure you make sure that you click on the correct page where you want it to appear. Any additions that you make, you can always change, move through that drag and drop method. So then you would just add a page once you selected the area that you wanted to go to. Make sure that I was in just the page navigation, but I want to make sure that I'm under the tool for menus and pages. Just like that. Okay, and then you would click on Add Page. You would also have options to add a link, okay, or add a folder. Now, you could also create a menu you would just, in order to add to the menu, you would just make sure that you were in the main menu structure. I'm not sure how you call it. Okay. Now, as you're working on the website, when you most of the work I think that you will be doing is just clicking on the text and editing it for dates and times and maybe schools and things like that. Sometimes you may want to add an item, a button, a text, or even something more complicated such as some code or some other things. Oftentimes, a lot of the work that you will need to do is to post a Google spreadsheet or Google Doc into the page so that people can see that document there. So you do that through these other menu items. Most of them is going to be this through this Add button, which will allow you to add text, add pictures. Okay, galleries allow you to add a series of pictures and allow you to create kind of a slideshow of pictures and things like that. Some art, things like that. So you can kind of look and see. There's a lot of neat items that you can add. But again, most of the things that you're going to be doing is just adding simple text, and there's a lot of different types of text that you can add. You just select whichever text you want. One thing about it is that when you do add it, it just throws it right in the middle, which is not always the best thing. I wish sometimes it would like add it to where you wanted it, but it's pretty easy just to, once you do add it, let's say I'll add this big romantic title, but I'm going to delete it soon. Okay, it just throws it right in the middle of wherever you are. So you just drag, click on it, and you can drag it wherever you want it to go. Now, one thing that Wix also does is that in the different areas on the page, you can attach it to a particular area. Let's say I want to throw it down into the footer, or I want it up in a header, or in a particular part of the website. So when it does that, you should see attached to box. You see that, and so it'll make sure that it stays where you want it to go. So as you add more elements or expand things, it just makes it easier to keep the website in the same kind of format. So I don't need this, so I'm just going to delete it. And simple as just hitting delete on your computer keyboard. So you can kind of look at the other thing I think that you would add the most would be a button. And I try to keep buttons consistent, keep the website consistent so that it draws people's attention, doesn't look too complicated, because website that looks complicated, and this is already, I think, kind of complicated already. There's just a lot of information that's always involved with OnDemand, so I am also kind of thinking of how to simplify it but still get all that information out to everybody. In any case, I, for the most part, just keep with the themed buttons, as you see, and I try not to venture out too often, otherwise again, it'll look too confusing to have all these different types of buttons. So if I want something someone's attention or a particular thing that needs to be clear, I'll use the big button. Something that's a little less, like downloading an application or something like that, then I may use some of these other buttons. But basically, you kind of look through the site and hopefully understand how the buttons and the text and everything that is laid out, how it's used. Sometimes you might add extra apps, and most of the biggest one that I use, kind of an outside third-party app, would be one for music. And when I talk about how to upload our concert recording, I'll talk about that. Now, the last kind of handy thing that you'll need to know is all the different files and items that have been uploaded. For the most part, when you create a link, you can upload materials. It used to be the only way that you can do that. So let me show you, for example, I'm just going to take the link here. Even though it's already linked, I'm just going to show you the process. So when you want to create, so here's a button here. You can change the name of the button, and then also where it's linked. Well, I can do that right now because we want to keep it that way. But you can also change the behavior of when you click on it, what it does. So in this case, it's going to take us to a particular page. But you can also create a button so that when you click on it, you can download a particular document. You can send an email, whatever. All these are options that you can use. I'm actually going to keep it back. I'm going to cancel out of here so that just to make sure, yeah, so it doesn't change my settings. Let me go over to and show you in terms of document. Let's go down to the audition information because that has links for the music, which is important. Also, it has buttons and links for the application information. And so each of these buttons will link to a particular document. By just clicking on the button, it brings up this menu. Then I want to change the document that I have. So for the most part, well, right now it's all set, but if I was going to change that, and you would when you're getting things ready for the new year, new Autobahn year, you're going to click on Choose Files, and that's going to bring you into the menu, the document menu. Now, you could do the same thing by just going to My Uploads here. Because we are specifically dealing with this button here, it brings it up that menu, so it will change the behavior of this button. And that's what we want to do right now. So then if I were to change the file, then I would click on that. And then you could scroll down. Here I have it organized by into different folders. So there's audition music from previous years. I've uploaded all the audition music so that when we get to a new year, I just would need to change the set that we are on. And currently we're on set D, so you'd see audition music set D, junior high band, and this would be the senior high band. And then I have it for A, B, and C. These are previous years where we changed. This is just the music, whereas this is the complete packet. I've changed things around a little bit to not create a whole packet, but just to kind of keep things separate, keep the music separate along with the application and things like that. So the application now is separate. I used to put it all together in one complete packet. And then everything that has to do with the particular year for that Autobahn would be under HB or Autobahn info for the particular year. And that would be files such as the applications that you saw, the on-a-band member information once that goes up, and any other kind of documents that I need to put. You can upload and post Microsoft document files. Because of formatting and not everybody has Microsoft, everything that I post on the website, I try and put in PDF form so that people can just print it out without having to worry about having Microsoft Word or it coming out with the wrong formatting. Usually the PDF file is good enough. So so you would just then click on the file that you would want to change or link to that particular button, and you would put add to page there. It's already set up, so I'm not going to do that. I mostly just wanted to show you the menu structure here and how you would link a particular file to the button. You can use any kind of file. All media includes everything that's been uploaded, so it could also include pictures. Most of the information here is on PDFs because that's what they would be clicking. And that's basically how that works. So I'm just going to cancel out of it because everything is already all set. Now let me take you over to the my uploads, because there are also images and things that are used on their website, such as the headshots for the directors from the different years that we've had. And so every time when you add a new one, I try and create a new file so that you can find things quickly. To add a new folder to keep things organized, you just go down to the bottom here where it says add new folder, and you would just type in the name of the folder, so new year plus whatever. So but you can also link pictures or things like that. You could grab some pictures and things off of the website as too, and then to upload from your computer. If you wanted to add a photo or a file or whatever it might be, you could do two things. You could click on the upload button here, or you can also just drag and drop a particular file, whatever it is, right into the menu here. Okay. Oh, and of course it's telling me an error of some kind, but I'm not gonna worry about it right now. Just know that you can kind of drag and drop, or you can hit the upload button and click on whatever folder that you wanted to add. So that's basically adding some elements and navigating through the different parts. Most of the stuff you are just going to keep. You're going to change the links, such as here. So each year, you're going to want to change the link to the audition music, and that's done based on what I show you. You do choose file, and then you would go to the audition music set for whatever year we would be on. And then you would change text for the different web pages. And then you would also need to change, like here, you would need to change the application PDF file that's being shown here. So everything is basically done by just clicking on the item that you want to change. In this case, we would click on the settings for the PDF viewer, and then we could change. Right now it's linked to the junior high honor band application, so I would just click on change file like that. And when you are ready to publish, once you hit the publish button, it means it is being pushed out live to the website, and can be viewed by whoever goes to the website. So just be careful when you hit that button, that's the information that you want to be displayed. Now, one last thing that you can do, there's some menu items that you can kind of explore up here. Um, most of the time I'm dealing with these menu buttons here. It also allows you to edit the way that the website will look on your mobile device, which I actually don't use a whole lot and don't change. And a lot of people are using mobile websites, mobile devices when they access the website, and they always call and say, "Hey, something's not working," and it's because um, the mobile editor takes a little bit more kind of time, and I just don't put any time. But you can play around with it if you want to. It's actually, for the most part, changes that you make on the regular desktop editor is also going to show on the mobile site as well. There's just some formatting and things like that that you may want to play around with and change in that. So the editor is pretty flexible. It does have its little quirks, but it's a lot easier than using regular website editors where you have to enter a lot of code, or the formatting as you're typing in doesn't look like what it would look like when you post it live. So that is the website editor in a nutshell. Sorry it was a long discussion here, but thanks for listening.